very happy to welcome you to our first digital flagship conference, E-nsights. 2020 is a very important year for us since it's our 10 years anniversary. We have started the celebrations in February with a nice party and then switched over to a more digital format with the 10 years, 10 minutes interview series launched by Rajaa. We also organized a public roundtable and finishing the year now today with this conference. 2020 has been a complicated year due to COVID. The LPEA team has managed quite well with resilience and agility all the different events we had planned for you this year. We, for example, started e-interviews, also webinars, inspired by our proactive technical committees and clubs. We even started the first edition of our LPEA Training Academy. So in the end, we are quite well equipped for 2021. I also wanted to highlight that we are very happy then to have this robust program for today. We have, for example, in the morning, two panels. The first one will be on COVID. The other one will be on digitalization. And afterwards, we'll also have a fireside chat between two industry experts. We have also, during the lunch break, some breakout sessions. Then the first one is organized by our legal committees, which will be around the legal outlook. And the second one will be on ESG and diversity, organized by the ESG Club. In the afternoon, we'll have three panels. The first one will be on the different investment strategies and the future performance. The other one will be on the future of the private equity industry. And the last one on Brexit. We'll also have a presentation on the space economy. And we're also very happy to have the closing speech of His Excellency, our Prime Minister, Xavier Bettel. We also wanted to thank all our speakers and contributors to the conference, certainly also all our sponsors who believed in this project and supported us, and namely IQEQ, Atos, Arendt, Sahn, Stibbe, Deloitte, Clifford Chance, Northern Trust, Lawrence Love, and also Cassis. You will be able to interact with our panelists via the chat function. You should also, if interested, have a look at the different sponsors' booths, which are in a dedicated area. Lots of interesting content awaiting you there. And certainly for the fans of networking tools, you will be able to do face-to-face videos, and also, if you like serendipity, to do random networking. So, huge program for today, and I will now pass over to our president, Claus Mansfeldt.
Thank you, Stephane, and again, welcome everybody. I was asked to try to sort of set the scene today. What does the world kind of look like around us as we gather here again for our Insights conference? And I was just talking to Rajaa just before, and you know, it's really a moment of surprising exuberance, at least in financial markets. I noted yesterday that the Dow index broke through 30,000, an all-time high. Private equity assets are at a high point, and the returns have turned out, perhaps surprisingly, during COVID, to have come out okay. Data point, Preqin, predicts that over the next 5 years, private equity assets under management will grow by nearly 16% per annum. 16% per annum from a high point. Maybe, I'm not sure that's going to last for the decade, but on the surface, in financial markets, it looks as if the pandemic is discounted as more or less over. It looks as if the markets believe that there's going to be a new US president, and the markets believe that Brexit will perhaps happen and not be the end of the world for Europe either. So all this seems to be discounted, and maybe the question for me today is, are we looking at kind of a rerun of the roaring 20s that also happened after a pandemic episode 100 years ago? And indeed, how will it all end? So a lot of these topics will be explored today, and of course, how will Luxembourg and the private equity industry in Luxembourg fit into the whole picture as well will be discussed today. So lots of interesting reflections to come. And Rajaa has, as ever, been a huge motor behind this event and really being able to gather fantastic participants to share their thoughts with you. So, Rajaa, how did you do that?
Great milestone put together by the team at LPEA, but of course we would have preferred to be all together in one room. So hi everyone, and hopefully we will meet you in flesh again very soon. I just wanted to do a little bit of a throwback Wednesday, because in fact this is our 5th edition, and when we started this concept with Luis Galveas, who should also be congratulated for all the work he's done, together with the more recent team who joined with Natalia and Mika and Evie, I have to stress that. When we started in 2016, the idea was just to present private equity a little bit to a new audience, and we started with the theme which remained consistent throughout the years and actually shows how the private equity industry has been evolving. So the first year, 2016, the theme was the long-term investor journey. 2017, we gave a view of the 360 view of how GPs are faring because it's such a diverse industry. 2018, we talked about how PE is building the real economy, which obviously does more than ever. And last year was PE 3.0 with digitalization. So somehow this year it's all coming together to look ahead at the next decade. And when we first planned this E-nsights conference, the theme was supposed to be big, as coined by our president. Big as in buyouts, innovation and growth, before we decided, given the situation, to make it much more encompassing. So I'm not going to delve more into the agenda. I just wanted to outline my 3 wishes for the LPEA and for the private equity industry. So for the LPEA, I think I really wish for the next decade that it keeps representing the growing diversity of what the PE community is in all its senses and its all matrix. The second is I hope the LPEA continues to attract great speakers. So to do so, speakers being people with deep expertise, people who are influencers, people who represent, real chunks of our industry. And last but not least, for 2021, I really wish that we lose the E and get the I back into E-nsights, so we all meet at the Philharmonie. And the rest, of course, is in the good hands of Stephane and the team. For the PE industry, building on what Claus said, and in tune with today's agenda, my 3 wishes are, of course, very personal and underpinned by the fact that for me, PE is everything but alternative. It's about real people, real economy, real jobs. And in that sense, I want the industry to continue to generate responsible growth. Yes, Claus, I read that the industry may look like a 30 trillion industry at the end of the decade. And if this is the case, great, but it has to be a good corporate citizen, and growth that it generates has to be responsible, all the more so as tech innovation has become paramount and the role of venture capital and PE has only been growing. The second wish is I love the fact that private equity can remain private, but because private means long-term, means being able to focus on things that go beyond the volatility of markets, but also that it becomes more publicly accountable, which is anyway happening. But I think the value creation that is intrinsic to PE cannot be done in secret. And I think in that sense, we will talk about it today, being transparent and aligning interests always more and more will be very important. And last but not least, and this is even more personal, sorry guys, but I really wish for more diversity and with many more women at the top. So I keep encouraging women to come forward and to find courage and drive to rise through the ranks. And luckily today we have, I think, about 20% women, most of them, or all of them being very senior. So go for it, whether you're a girl or you feel you belong to a minority, there's a place for you in the private equity industry. Have a great conference, and I think I'll see you later for a panel. That's it.
Thanks a lot, Rajaa, and Claus, for your insights, your ideas and your support. We will put that in place and are very happy to have our Private Equity for Women club, for example, who is really tackling the diversity question. So now we will move on to the first panel, which is called the Weathering the COVID-19 Storm. And if the speakers could join us now on the scene.